think I'm on. Okay, cool. I just have like kind of a temporary setup for the room that I'm staying in. Just set up my DSLR. I honestly have no idea if you can even hear me right now, so if you're in the room and you can hear me, please let me know. This is going to be a really quick one. I tried to do this earlier today, but for whatever reason, the YouTube gods kind of cut off my video midway. I think it had to do something with like a disconnection. Basically, what I'm going to talk about is, interacting with clients. So as you know, I'm a web developer, and I tend to focus on web development based content and WordPress. But today specifically, I'm going to talk about more just general creative issues and how to interact with the client. Today's video is called "Your Client is Not Your Creative Director." Now, as kind of a creative, you can tend to work by yourself for like weeks, months at a time. And some creatives get like zero feedback. So by the time you finally get to the point where you can show, your client your work, you're pumped. You want them to see, and you want them to jump for joy. And you also, if you are working by yourself that time, it's very human to kind of want ideas. Whenever you're doing something creative, you need some collaborative ideas to kind of jumpstart your creative process and kind of get you going. So when you see your client, there's this tendency for newer freelancers or newer creatives to kind of like try to get that feedback from your client. What I'm telling you in this video today is to try to avoid that. And I'm going to give you a couple alternatives. But first off, the reason you want to avoid that is because the client really is not qualified to direct you. The client has no idea what will work and what won't work. That's what you're there for. That's what you need to tell them. Every good designer serves also as a consultant. So you're not doing your job if you're relying on the client to give you direction on where to go creatively. That being said, you don't just totally ignore your client and don't take their business or their goals or their values into account when you're creating a website or packaging or whatever creative project you're doing. But you should be getting that information in the forefront, in the beginning of the project. I highly recommend everyone to have a creative phase, a discovery phase. And generally, discovery should take, with a new client, discovery should take about 1/3 the time of the entire job. So if you put that time in upfront to kind of learn about their business, learn about their target demographic, learn about who they are, learn about what they want to do, what they believe in, what their values are, and learning about their target demographic and their customers, then you can totally kind of hit it right off the bat. And that's really the goal, is the first time you show the client, you don't want them to have feedback. You want to have already preemptively been able to get from them what you need and create what they want. Now, there are such a thing as check-ins, which are great. You should always want the client, you should always try to keep it where the client wants to hear from you. So you want to keep those relatively sparse as far as like showing them actual work. You can communicate with them as much as they like. Don't ignore them, but keep it pretty sparse as far as showing them work, and make that a big deal. And when you do that, when you're showing them the work, you want to knock their socks off. You don't want to be asking them, hey, what do you think of this idea, or what do you think of that idea? You're going to come off as a real goober and somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing. It's going to make the client feel kind of insecure and wonder if they didn't hire you. And even if the work is good, they might think, man, this guy really doesn't know what he's doing. And even though like my site or my packaging or my brochure came out really good, I don't really know if I feel comfortable working with him. It kind of feels like, this was just a lucky break that he or she was able to produce work that kind of was pretty good. So basically, the summary here is, you know, as far as creative work goes, your client is not your creative director. Also, I want to note real quick, if you don't have a creative director, that's fine. One thing you got to do is you got to make a lot of friends that do creative stuff that you can kind of ask for feedback. I have a group that I will link in this video after it goes live. Talking that is a Facebook group where we give each other feedback about our websites. It's a great kind of thing you can do. You can also go to meetup groups. I go to the one here on Maui now that I live here on Maui, but there's also going to be meetup groups pretty much throughout the, you know, just find like your closest one. In San Diego, I went to an advanced WordPress meetup group, which was great. I learned a ton from those guys, and I met a lot of lifelong friends that kind of I can check in with if I have a problem or if I need some feedback about something, and they do it for me too. And when they give me feedback, it's not like, you know, I'm necessarily doing them a favor, because I get great ideas from their work, and I'm a big believer, you know, that we're always stronger together. So that's the alternative to having a creative director if you're kind of a lone freelancer. Also, as a freelancer, you can still work with a team. I'm working on a project with like 6 people right now, and I'm the developer, and there is an actual creative director. So that being said, I hope I haven't rambled on too much. If you have any questions, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing videos every day about web design, web development, web marketing, creative services, the business side of it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So hit me up. Feel free to contact me. Love your comments. Subscribe. Yeah, I think I said that. Hope you don't mind people who repeat things, because obviously that's something I do. All right, guys. See you later. Thank you for watching the video. Let me turn you off.